Time now to take a look through the French newspapers, and I'm joined by Caterina Vitosi. Hello, Caterina.
Hello.
Now, of course, the paper's all dominated today by that ongoing leadership battle at the UMP.
Absolutely, and it's showing no signs of sort of losing its vehemence and its force. According to Le Figaro, the right-leaning paper, they're calling it trench warfare, just to sort of emblemise quite how entrenched both these men are in their positions. You would have thought maybe there might have been a bit more of a light at the end of the tunnel, given that we've seen Copé with a slight sort of nod ahead in the polls. However, and seeing the former President Nicolas Sarkozy coming in asking for this new vote. But according to the paper, no, we're as polarised as we ever were. Inside, they go on to talk a little bit more about a meeting yesterday between former President Nicolas Sarkozy and François Fillon. The sense you get from this article is that maybe these schisms are just going to be too deep to reconcile, despite in this meeting very clearly being stated by the former French president, I would agree to a new vote in this leadership contest. People who are sort of at the meeting, or those who are close to François Fillon, who remember was the former prime minister under Nicolas Sarkozy, they said, he's sort of standing firm in his position. He would see a new vote. However, he didn't come out on top. It's not unbelievable that he might go off and start his own party. So it really just shows how quite deeply divided these politicians are within their own party. Remember. Again, sort of Aujourd'hui en France picking up on this same idea. They ask, will there be a new vote? They go a little bit more into detail, just why are these two men, as I said, of the same party, cut from the same UMP cloth? Why are they so divided? Why are they at such loggerheads? And they sort of have a very interesting analysis on whether it was actually the state of the party after the former leader, the former President Nicolas Sarkozy left. And maybe that is sort of the reason for this huge divide. This takes us back to the presidential campaign, which obviously Nicolas Sarkozy lost. In trying to sort of conquer that, he lent sort of perhaps further to the right than some people in the UMP party may have liked. And that has made sort of a real division within the political line of the party. So they say, the L'Humanité as well pick up on this. They say, has Nicolas Sarkozy sort of burnt the ground behind him? So really a sense of, he's Nicolas Sarkozy. He may have kind of swooped in as the saviour, they say in an article inside the party, but is he perhaps actually the grave digger? Has he really created this mess? What can he now do to solve it? And if he can't, what really next for the future of the UMP party?
Let's move on to another story now. Libération is looking at the French government's battle against the world's biggest steel magnate.
Yes, it's the front page of Libération, a very striking image of these blast furnaces at a steelworks in northeastern France. The state, they say, heading to the furnaces. This is an ongoing battle that's just getting sort of more and more embroiled and vehement each day between the French government and ArcelorMittal, as you said, the world's biggest steel company. The head of that company, Lakshmi Mittal, is heading to the Élysée Palace today to talk to the French President François Hollande. The state making their position very clear. They want perhaps to nationalise this steelworks in eastern France. The ArcelorMittal company saying they just want to sell off a part of it, but no one's kind of wanting to buy a little part of it. What's interesting to see is how Libération, they are sort of in the editorial piece, they say, good on the government for taking a firm stance against big business, as you can imagine a left-leaning paper might be inclined to say, but they do advise a note of caution. They say, this is one of the sort of the big employer in France, 20,000 people. So a note of caution. It's not sort of a cut and dry. They say perhaps calm down the rhetoric a little bit, especially of that of the French Minister for Industrial Renewal, Arnaud Montebourg, who said, we'll just get them out. We don't want the Mittal company in here anymore. Again, this is actually a point that is picked up in the economic daily Les Echos, who say ArcelorMittal have rebutted that statement by the Arnaud Montebourg, saying, we have actually kept all our promises. There's no reason that we shouldn't stay in France, and we're a big employer. Let's renegotiate on this matter.
And from France to Syria, Le Figaro has a special report on the ongoing violence there, focusing on Aleppo.
Yeah, absolutely. They sent her reporters on the ground there. Adrian Jarms reporting from Aleppo in the north of Syria. He calls it a battle frozen in Syria's old maze. He says there's a real stalemate between the rebels and government fighters. He's speaking to rebels who are running out of weapons, particularly who are asking for help from the international community, and saying that, if we had more weapons, we would be able to make inroads and sort of fight against government troops in Aleppo. Just sort of really highlighting how important decisions with regards to how the international community, what part they take with regards to the opposition fighters, and what an important decision that would have in aspects of the whole battle.
And if we have time, a quick look at press media across Europe.
Absolutely. A quick look at Le Croix. Unfortunately, bad news for the future of European press media, according to them. Press media turned on its head. They say that circulation is low across Europe for lots of print media, suggesting ways that perhaps they could boost circulation. Perhaps papers should focus more on opinion and editorial pieces. If people are heading online to get their factual news, perhaps a reason to buy newspapers would be to hear what people really think and expert opinions on matters in the news.
All right. Thank you very much, Katerina. Don't worry, you're not out of a job just yet.
Phew!
That's it for the papers.